Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome once again, as always, to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. You join me today for day 32 of the UK lockdown, where currently I'm out and about taking my daily exercise as always and bringing you guys along for the ride. Now, today I'm out at 7:30 in the morning and it's a beautiful, glorious day, as you can see. I'll just whip the camera around here at this little break in this hedgerow and I'll show you the wonderful view on this glorious day 32 lockdown morning. Just look at that, makes you glad to be alive, doesn't it? Now, as you can tell, there's a bit of a change of scenery in this particular vlog. I'm out in the open, I'm not in a wooded area where I've normally been going and walking. I'm on a bit of an ancient track here as I make my way along. Again, I'll just whip the camera around and show you where we're walking along. And the reason for this, Hot Potters, is I have solved my little problem of large file sizes being created by these vlogs and the upload time that it takes to get them up onto the internet ready for your edification. Without getting too technical, I've found that if I'm in a wooded area, such as I've been making these vlogs, the camera that I use, the lens on it, is struggling with the rapid light changes. As I'm walking along and there's light bouncing around in a wooded area, it can't deal with them. And that's why it's been such a large file. Yesterday I was more or less out in the open and the file size was halved. And by the time I put it through a little compression program, it reduced it once again to about 300 megabytes, and that's why yesterday's vlog was uploaded extra early. So I think this is the way going forward that I'm going to continue with these vlogs, and it'll be very much this sort of scenery that you see me walking along in. So no more sitting there watching eagerly as it crawls to upload onto the internet like the good old days of Napster peer-to-peer sharing, for anybody who remembers that. 5 hours to download an MP3 only to find somebody had given it the wrong label and it wasn't what you needed at all. Anyway, folks, that also means that I can answer one or two of your comments that people have been leaving. I feel bad when I see that there's 30 odd comments and I haven't had time to answer any of you. I feel a little bit ignorant, so I can now answer people a little bit more, and I've been doing that. One or two of you came on to defend the old conspiracy theory flag. You know, you felt that I was attacking it a little bit. And it's been quite interesting to debate and have a little bit of a chat with you guys who believe in all this New World Order, Illuminati kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it's like any other subject that you need blind faith to believe in, really. You know, such as the paranormal, UFOs, etc. You either believe in it or you don't. And to be honest with you, Hot Potters, New World Order, shadow governments, etc., etc., I don't believe in it. Now, does that make me a sheep and am I asleep? Well, history will judge me on that, won't it? We'll have to wait and see. Now, to be honest with you, I think that Boris Johnson, our Prime Minister, he gave us the softest possible lockdown that he could. And you compare our lockdown with our European partners, some of them, and they're literally prisoners in their own homes. You know, their governments have made them prisoners. So I do believe Boris Johnson when he said, just over a month ago now, that he didn't want to call a lockdown and he didn't want to bring in these measures, but the scientific evidence proved that as a responsible government and a responsible Prime Minister, he needed to do that. You know, I mean, that's one for the conspiracy theorists, I suppose. How do you equate certain countries having harsher lockdowns than others? I mean, ours is a walk in the park, pardon the pun, compared to, say, Italy, France, you know, and Spain's, isn't it? I mean, here's a bit of an irony one for you. Everyone who was out there banging the EU drum and saying that by leaving Europe we would be giving up our freedoms. Isn't it now ironic that the Italians, the French and the Spanish, they're the ones that are cooped up and caged like battery hens and yet we can still come out and walk about like we're doing, providing we're responsible. There's a bit of an irony there, you know, cue Tales of the Unexpected theme tune at this point, I think, you know, but yeah, it just makes you wonder why other countries have chosen harsher lockdowns and others haven't, if indeed there is some shadow government pulling all the puppet master strings and things like that. It does make you wonder. I mean, they could claim later on that we've sleepwalked into a disaster by not imposing an harsher lockdown. Again, we'll just have to wait and see if history will indeed judge us on that. You know, we'll only know when this thing is over who actually got it right. You know, you could turn around and say, that country dealt with it best. We're all learning on the fly with this thing, aren't we? We really are. Anyway, folks, I'm now coming up to the 6-minute mark, and I am on an old ancient track here. This particular track that I'm walking along is called Woodpit Lane, and certainly part of it dates right back to the 1500s, believe it or not, and it's probably older than that. How do I know that? Well, there's a little relic that I'm making my way towards, and I'll show in a short while. I have promised showing people relics and little interesting curiosities around this area where I come to walk each and every day. And time constraints due to the bloody upload time of getting the vlogs up and things like that have meant that I've not been able to do it. So I'm going to try and show you something that I think is a little bit interesting, and hopefully you guys will too. So I'm going to cut the film here now, because I'm quite away from it as yet. And when I get closer to it, join me again, and we'll take a little look at this rather interesting relic that dates back to the 1500s. Okay folks, welcome back. I'm now a little bit further along Woodpit Lane, and I'm actually stood in front of this relic that I'm going to show you in a moment. And this is where my daily exercise will end for today. I'm going to turn straight round and make my way back home once I've shown you what we've come to take a look at. Now, typically, as I've arrived here, the world and his wife have been walking past. There must have been about half a dozen people, and I've been having to keep jumping up onto the grass verges, which I'll just whip the camera around to show you. I've been jumping in those edges, waiting for this area to get clear. So without further ado, let's take a look at this relic now, shall we? Okay folks, well this is the relic that I've come to take a look at on this particular vlog. And what you're actually looking at now is a rather unassuming lump of stone that dates back, right back to no later than the 1530s. Now the reason I know that is because this is actually the base to a wayside cross that would have been placed here for the Catholic faith prior to 1530. Now the reason I know it dates no later than that is because obviously Henry VIII came round and started the Reformation period, and he ordered, I think it was 1538, something like that, that all Catholic symbols and shrines that remained in England had to be removed by a king's order. So the cross was removed and they left the base here. Now, the socket itself used to obviously fill with rainwater, and apparently that was used as holy water afterwards by those who were defying the king's order regarding the Catholic faith, and it's believed that somebody put that stone cut in there that you can just see, so that the water would drain away to stop that. Now, I've done a video on this in my back catalogue. If anyone would like to hear more about this particular relic, I'll put a link to that video at the end of this one. But for now, I'm going to quickly whip the camera around and wrap this particular vlog up. Well folks, that'll just about do it for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog. It's been a little bit different. Funnily enough, just as I was making that piece for camera regarding that stone, an old fella came past and asked me what I was doing, and it turns out he's lived in this area all his life and he never knew what that actually was. Maybe there should be a little bit of a sign or some kind of information put near it, because after all, it is part of our history and our heritage. Anyway folks, I'm going to make my way out here now to this lovely bird song. So I'll bid you a fond farewell until tomorrow, when it'll be day 33 of the UK lockdown. But until then, stay safe, and as always, bye bye for now.